Alright, let's get started. I was a little bit late, about an hour or so. There used to be a war between Italy and the Eastern Alliance, but currently... how big was the peace? Appears it was just a white peace, to be honest. Let's do some... okay. Alright. We have Switchjack as a secondary controller, so finally I can see what the crown actually means on the UI. Oh my god, I bet, yeah, Texas is not being played, that explains everything. Both Malay and colonial nations are being played. We have Australia in the south, and Finland is absent this session as well. There, I think... yeah, Prussia is conquering all of GB. Zap Republic is conquering Texas. Not without some issues, apparently. I think the Texan quality should be pretty darn good. Only plutocratic. And they're missing one idea from plus 15 morale. Yeah, actually the Malayans might be able to beat them. Especially with superior numbers. Vijay is at war with Bengal, which I bet, yeah, isn't played. So we have no France, England was pretty much dead, Texas and Bengal, but other than that, Europe is mostly full, Africa is full. We have more people in India than last time. It's not that bad. I do wonder when something is actually going to happen. Might take a while. Morocco doesn't have any allies. Italy is still allied to Ottomans. Prussia and the rest of the Eastern Alliance is just allied to each other. Kokturks, no allies. Taiping, no allies. Punjab only to Vijay. Ivis to Ottomans and Ethiopia, which means almost all their neighbors. Ethiopia to Rosvi and... Rosvi to Ethiopia and Oyo, which is an independent OPM guaranteed and allied by Mali as well. Okay, well that's a thing. There's a play. What? Nah. Yeah, it's fake war. France is getting partitioned by Italy now as well. Yeah, they're getting pretty much slaughtered in Gascony. But there's still so much GB left, and it's going to be at least 2 more wars. France is going to be even more, I think. Oh my god, that's still a lot of death. Yeah, 800. Oh, we have Joms Vikings. And their capital is in... oh! It's in... Lotva? Livonia? Okay, that's a bit of a open spot, but yeah, I bet you it was moved there by the decision to form Joms Vikings, but I'm not sure if he wants to keep that there. Luckily, the color is not too similar between Prussia and Jomsvikings. And the flag is pretty nice. Yeah, I like yellow and black on flags. I think black just looks pretty nicely with a lot of stuff. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm really hoping we get to see the Eastern Alliance versus Ottoman Hagbox war this session. Otherwise, I don't think there's much that might happen. Gokturks may get rolled by either Taiping or Punjab, or Eastern Alliance for that, to be honest. Vijay is just probably going to be eating Bengal. Actually, well, one thing that might happen is Punjab attacking Ayyubids. And then maybe Ottomans help them? Yeah, because I think Ayyubids on their own are just gonna get smashed. 300 income, 230. Assume that Ethiopia is gonna join them. Ethiopia has a decent force limit. Bigger than Ayyubids. Yeah, it's even together it's less than Punjab by 100. Yeah, fellas, like if they're not gonna do it for like strategic reasons, but maybe they do it because they're bored. Because like it's been 200 years. But maybe one day. And to be fair, like unless they go into Morocco, after they eat France and Great Britain, there's not going to be any space left to expand. Though, to be fair, I'm not even sure if they want to expand that much, other than Russia. Yeah. Jomsvikings are over governing capacity. Prussia is damn twice over their governing capacity. 100% more advisor cost almost. They are surprisingly cheap though. Ah, I guess they're only level 3. And Ruthenia, how is Ruthenia looking? Ruthenia can eat a bit more, but they have access to France. So I'm thinking everyone is just gonna bully Gokturks at this point. Eat Bengal. We'll see, maybe Morocco will get invaded, but even that is doubtful because I'm not seeing any reason why would Eastern Alliance invade Morocco. Italy might actually. I guess they could get more trade into Genoa this way, and if with Ottoman help, it's just gonna be a cakewalk. No, 1v1, Morocco should win fairly easily. Actually, what? It's 115%. If it was just a bit less, then Italy could vassalize 2 Sicilies and gain really annoying access to Morocco. Though Morocco must have given Italy access. Unless he is just giving access. Oh yeah, he's giving access to France, which also gives access to Italy. It might be a bit of a mistake, but it's very slight. Indians still at war with Bengal, which is getting crushed, and I don't think he... Yeah, he never actually managed to conquer all of Indochina. All of Indochina was conquered by Bengal. All of it? No! 3 tiny OPMs and a slightly bigger nation with surprisingly high dev in jungle are surviving the invasion, and now Bengal is just dying. Unless Vijay Oh wow, that's nice rolls for Bengal. They have a good leader too. And they win! Nice. Bit of a surprise. I wonder how they're gonna split it. They're not going for trade nodes, I assume. Bengal is in a golden era for 13 more years, which might make things a bit more annoying. Ottoman's at war with some AI. Oh, it's Persia. What little remains of them. Yeah, one issue with fighting Punjab is they control all of the forts in the Persian mountains. Oh yeah, fellas, you sapped Bengal. Yeah, they're trying their hardest. But yeah, looks like Punjab is just going to be taking most of the occupations, and then Vijay is gonna move in once Punjab gets 100%. What? Those are pretty shit forts, fellas. Why didn't you try to make life more annoying for everyone else involved? Yeah, it's all level 2s. I bet you the Bengal AI would have won if only he had better forts. I think he wrote something in chat about his screen being broken and not turning on. Is it going to be another battle one? Nah, reinforcements are coming. Okay. It was close though. Might have been another defeat by a player. Texas is getting fully occupied. Yeah, building universities. Since when is education more worthwhile than forts? It is a fair amount of universities. I'm not sure how useful they are in some places. Wait. There's 5 universities. There's only 5 universities. Unless, like, Bengal went bankrupt or something. No. Buying American. Shake my head. Probably that's what's happening now. Bengal is getting couped by CIA. And when they lost their leadership, they're gonna get they got invaded by Vijay and Punjab. Yeah, manufactories. Okay, that's a fair amount of manufactories. It's okay-ish. Why did you not finish conquering all of those pesky tiny AIs? Yeah, it was like not played for more time than it was. And you need Bengal is when Bengal gets in this position that he can conquer most of Indochina, he needs a bit of time to reorganize itself to become actually a good nation. Maybe even form Nepal or something, but without player it's pretty much impossible. Did you actually build naval batteries? Oh yeah! What the hell? There's actually many in this part. Yeah, I mean, if you actually only need 1 per sea tile, I think they're not that bad. I think, honestly, they are not that bad. Because, like, in a lot of places you get areas that, like grasslands, they have +1 possible number of buildings. So you can fit everything you want there anyways. Or, like, there are provinces that have, not in this area, but provinces that have just like 30 dev, like Constantinople. Oh, actually, if I put naval battery in Constantinople, would it count for both? Oh, it only counts for the port, right? For the sea tile where there's a port. So in this case, it would only count for Sea of Marmara. Damn, Ottomans don't have any naval batteries? No, they have. Okay. Okay, I was about to call, not Bob, a newbie player, but no, he's actually good. He built 4 sea batteries. Ayyubids? Nope, Ayyubids are a bad player. Morocco is a bad player, but Alex only just now took over the nation, so it's only fair that he gets some time to build his naval batteries. Prussia, no naval batteries, damn. Jumps Vikings, no naval batteries. No naval batteries in Russia, though actually they could only build them in a few provinces. And Rufinia, yeah, Rufinia is the only good player in the Eastern Alliance because he's the one player that it makes sense to not have any naval batteries. Everyone else is just Koktuk's probably no naval batteries. Nope. Taiping has 1 naval battery, but I think it was taken from Bengal, so it doesn't count. I'm pretty sure it was taken from Bengal. Yep. Yeah, actually it looks like Bob is the only one. Yeah, Malaya. No naval. Oh, actually, even Rosby has no naval batteries. Ethiopia. In Americas, I guess people don't really care that much because they are poor. Yeah, I mean, it's clear to see why people think Bob is the best player. And it's not that hard. He's the only one who's building naval batteries from those who are currently in game. Oh, France is actually still going for Westphalia despite... Oh, actually, who started this war? Westphalia started it, but it's not working out great, I think. Yeah. Like, actually, of all the nations, I was thinking Crosby for sure would have the naval batteries, but apparently not. It would be pretty annoying if there were sea tiles that border land provinces but don't have any ports going into them. And I mean, especially around islands, it's probably the case. Let's see if I can find oh yeah, for example, like this. Seems like there's no way to put a naval battery that would protect Flinders Bay. But that's what you would expect in a Paradox game, obviously. And they are in a separate wars, correct? Yep. Yeah, basically a lot of the forts have already fallen. Now Critiax actually needs to do some micro and occupy everything else. Might be a bit annoying because AI is... One thing AI is good at is microing a lot of very tiny stacks. Especially since you're not in like hard try mode when you're just crashing an AI. Okay, AI won 1, 2, 3, 4 battles versus Punjab and 5, 6 versus VJ. Not bad, honestly, not bad. I wasn't expecting that many against Punjab, especially. And some of those are actually pretty big, like 90,000 Punjabi troops. That's a full stack. And the second one, those forces were almost even too. But now they're getting wrecked, mostly. finally we're getting rid of most of the tax in Central America, but there's still a lot of them left. This late in the game. Vermont has over 1000 dev, but he could be eating more. I'm not sure why he's not. Okay, it's the center of the Northern America, okay. Central America is like not really a thing, right? It's like what America's invented when they suddenly decided that people south of them are no longer white. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this on Twitch, but yeah. And like, there's only North America and South America, right? Oh god, this is gonna be one of those, I think. Interesting, all of the Ayyubids troops moved from Iraq to Tunis, which now means they don't have anything to kill the Iraqi separatists. No, they're actually moving one stack there. I think Morocco might be getting invaded, but again, unless Ottomans get in, maybe Italy together with Ayyubids, but even then I'm not sure. They would have to attack together. Let's see, 250. It would be close. Oh my god, what? Those are light ships? No, Morocco is building 50 heavies. Maybe it's a mission? It might be a mission. That one he has. Oh, this is useless. Doesn't look like it's for a mission. I think it was rather firmly established that galleys are just better, especially in our balance mode. Westphalia is straight up getting wrecked. I'm not sure why Cornwall is on the map as a Prussian vassal, since they're taking some provinces directly anyways. And Wales too? Oh yes, Stonehenge, the famous monument of the Great Britain. Increases missionary strength. Ah, interesting. Stability cost modifier. Makes sense. How do you renovate Stonehenge? I think that's an interesting question. This would be pretty nice if Ottomans were Orthodox, but I guess they're not really going that way. Actually, he doesn't seem like he's converting anything, so... oh yeah, he went for... No, he went for religious. Oh, so he gets a lot of stuff from Janissary government and Ottoman traditions. It's pretty nice, but I was still weird that he went for religious second if you're not converting anything. Yeah, souvenir shop. That's probably what happened. I mean, it increases stability, tolerance of heretics and heathens. Sounds like tourists, basically. It's taking them a long time to get Bengal. 5 years. It's actually like player wars when they last 5 years are actually of decent length. And they're just sieging stuff. Oh, I think Punjab is not really microing that much to take the forts. He's just waiting for taking or something? Well, he's gonna be waiting a while, he's not gonna get to 100 with just that. He's sieging a few more forts. And all of the Vijay troops... Oh, I guess he didn't want that much. And now Vijay is just gonna take occupations over all of those forts. Not all the maintenance was lowered by Punjab in the end. Bengal is... What the hell? I think someone forgot to increase their... Or maybe it was... No, there's no fort here. Huh? I'm not sure why. Maybe it was Mercy. No. That's kind of weird. And most of the Punjabi army is just chilling in Thailand. They're just enjoying it so much. Ayutthaya might be one of the better provinces in the world, to be honest. 45. Wow, what? A province that was owned by an AI almost the entire game. I guess the player was playing Ayutthaya for a bit at the beginning. And it's currently the best province in Asia. Yeah. Okay, Westphalen and Prussia is even. Stockholm is just one off. Damn. Ayutthaya is tying for the first spot as most dev province. I don't think, like, as a vassal you get some pretty big maluses to deving, right? Let's see. Yeah, you get plus 50% to deving, but I guess if it's not your mana, then it doesn't really count. But I think AI doesn't really do it when they're a vassal, because that's why the Paradox also added the cost addition, because it was they considered it an exploit for some reason, and not everything else. But I think it's pretty hard to get AIs to properly dev for you when they're vassals. But to be fair, it's pretty hard to get AI to do anything for you when they're your vassal. Oh! The Bonaparte family, you say? Interesting. Actually, where's the dynasty map mode? What? Oh, it's a regent, okay. Ports, eh? Moldavia is still a thing for some reason. It's a really good state. I'm not sure why Ruthenia is not annexing it. Maybe they're hoping for deving as well, but Fang is ruling over China. Wait, Vermont is a kingdom? Huh. Persia is gone. It's gonna be a long time before Bengal gets eaten, so if the Asian players want to, they can just spend the entire session eating into Bengal. Yeah, I think they're just not bothering with doing all the micro to occupy all of those provinces, so AI still has space to recruit troops, and also it's not gonna bankrupt anytime soon because it was built by players to a decent degree. I mean, its income is not too good, but still it can take 60 loans of 600, so it's not gonna go bankrupt ever. Especially since it's not really having that high troop numbers objectively, like locally it can have supremacy. Who's typing fighting? What? Ah, his... yeah, court and country. He started court and country? How is his... he has 51 absolutism, and if I recall correctly, that means that he's already good? No, he actually needs 65. He will get plus 10 as it stands, but ideally he would want 65 at least, so he would get plus 20 absolutism. Oh, he can actually remove a fair bit of... yeah, he removes clerical ministers, all the advisor things. He should be good. And I think he can increase his Kronland a bit more. I think the last bonus to maximum absolutism is at 80? 75, so still. He only needs just a bit to get the full bonus. Yeah, so just two of those and more Kronland, and he's gonna be good. Yeah, don't you love this kind of mechanics? Isn't this great gameplay? He's just sitting and not doing anything, and that's enough. Nice. Nice. That's also the only war that's, I guess, other than the Westphalian War, which might be the most interesting thing happening this session so far. Oh wait, there's also... what? Oh, Texas is fighting all of those native AIs, I guess, and losing badly, which is surprising. I guess it's wasn't really able to recover after the Malayans invaded them. And yeah, even the Westphalian War looks like it's going to be finishing pretty quickly. Sicilians are sending their almost 15k. France still has almost 100k, so they're just... yeah, this is actually ending right now. The last fort is being sieged. Westphalia is still... wow, how much depth do they have? 300. They're almost half size of France. Those are some high depth provinces. Actually, maybe I'm interested in how many people are using trade companies. Shiviras, I would assume, is using them pretty much everywhere he can, which is not surprising. Goktuks are as well. Vijay is not. Punjab is using them everywhere. Ibis are using too. Rosway is not using them. What? Oh, Rosvi was diplomatically vassalizing Oyo. I'm surprised Ethiopia has nothing against that. Oh no. It's bugged. Italy is not using the trade companies, though I'm not sure. I mean, I think they could get one in Venice. And maybe Valencia, but they only got that part. Morocco has no trade companies, okay. Alright, alright. Ottomans, I'm sure, yeah, of course they have them everywhere. And let's see, because that's something I'm... Yeah, and he's going for land force limits sometimes, not only for the trade steering thing. That's interesting. Land force limit. Nothing. Because yeah, he has already one. So he actually built 2 trade companies in one trade region. Nothing. And it's just trade companies. Yeah, it looks like Ottomans are only going for 5 force limit ones, the big buildings. Meanwhile, Taiping is only getting the trade steering as I thought, because I was just talking with him about that. Yeah, and let's see what Punjab is doing, for example. Okay, looks like not much. Trade steering. And army tradition. Okay, that's interesting. Surprised that people are getting more than 1 per state, because obviously it's always good to get 1 because you can get the super building, but people are getting quite a few. I'm wondering what's the when it's worth it to make it into a trade company and when it's better to keep it as a core province. I don't think there's anyone else. Oh, okay. Force limit as well. Vermont killing even more AIs. There's still so many left in the area. Ruthenia is attacking what? Ingolstadt. I guess they rebelled from Westphalia or something. Prussia is going for round 10 on France. They actually still have a working force line somehow, despite losing all of those wars. Should be pretty quick. And they are in... it's all separate wars. Where's... oh, Hainaut still exists. With almost 60 death. This is gonna be one chill session, I see. Morocco is allied with Australia. I mean, it's something. And Australia has some trade companies. What? What? Ah, okay, it's this one. Nothing. Yeah, he has street companies, but he's not building any buildings in them. Still no grand changes in alliances anywhere. There really is not much to look at, to be honest. I mean, I could be checking on the stats of various nations, but it only matters if it's not going to be a wipe, which I'm afraid might happen to Gokturks any minute. Wait, how much did? Okay, they did take a bit from Bengal, not that much to be honest. No, it doesn't really look like 100%, but maybe it is. Guess I can check what absolutism people have. Morocco has 40, which is okay. Prussia has 81, hot damn. Oh, it's Jom's Vikings. Prussia is actually at -5 because they're a republic. Italy has 15. Ruthenia with a pretty nice 69. Russia has -27. Ottomans have pretty nice numbers. Ethiopia has pretty nice max absolutism, but pretty low currently. It will be increasing on its own by 1, and you can always just like decrease autonomy. For example, that's a good thing to do. Not that much available. Increase stability, it's good with admin. Guess strengthen government is the cheapest one. Yeah, Prussia has and Jom's Vikings have by far the most. And they actually have a lot of privileges still. Where are they getting all that from? Open public elections. Oh, their theocracy. That's a strong one. And now Ruthenia is going for their round versus France. Well, more like just waiting for their chunk. And they still have truces with Westphalia, so they cannot make it look a bit nicer. Westphalia will die pretty soon though, which is nice. We might also get rid of Great Britain in this session. Oh, that's random. They still have a vassal in Mexico. Well, there's oh, Jomsviking actually moving more troops to Russia, so I was thinking that those troops were just sitting there all the time in case there was an invasion from Asia, but I think Gokturks might be getting invaded pretty soon. Let's see, what are their numbers for maintenance? 100%. Yeah, I think Gokturks are getting invaded. Punjab still is keeping 150k in Thailand. Man, what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand. That's what the Punjabi troops clearly think. And how strong are Gokturks? I mean, for a horde, 300 force limit is pretty darn strong. And they have, yeah, minus 70% maintenance. A bit of a lag. And if they build all of those manufactories, they would be like super strong, super rich. Sandman, where's that? Semnon. Oh, it's in Persia. Just kept like, no. Why is it so good? I'm not sure. If Gokturks had the money, they could become decently strong, but as is, it's gonna be tough. Like, versus Russia, they would have won, obviously, but Russia is not alone. Pretty far from it, actually. Taiping is invading Lan Na for some reason. This was gonna be one ugly border. Level 5, 4. Actually, yeah, it could have been level 7 if they had the thing fully upgraded. Oh, Angkor Wat obviously gives minus 10% technology cost. Obviously. What do you need to actually build monuments? I can relocate them, oh my god. Just 1,000 ducats. And then you can forward them by 2 years for a bit of cash or manpower. 5,000 manpower at this point of the game is not that much. So how long does it take to actually build a monument? Because 3,000 for minus 10% technology, it's pretty damn good. Oh, it actually increases every stage, and it's 40 years for the final stage. So it could, if you used the money to increase the speed to almost instant, it would take you 17,250 decades to get it to level 3. But just 8.5k to get it without the speed up. And I mean, minus 10% attack, it's pretty damn good. And it's time for Gokturks, as I thought. Credex is... I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, whoa. Ayyubids and Ethiopia are attacking Morocco, who's allied by Australia and the Caribbean. And there's actually 150k Australians in Iberia already. Which, I mean, this kind of war is kind of significant. It's almost equal to what Ayyubids are bringing in. And Ethiopians are moving in from the south slowly, but this part is not really relevant for anything. How many forts are there? Just a few. A decent fort line, actually. The Futa fort is going to fall first under Ethiopian cannons. They have a lot of experience sieging that one. Oh my god, there's a lot of stuff going on. Let's see. Are the Caribbeans doing anything? Not as of right now. And Australia, let's see if they're moving any more troops. Or is their entire army there already? Yeah, pretty much their entire army is there. But Morocco is not doing anything, despite... Maybe it's some kind of deal? Because Ayyubids are not really bringing... They're not really going over force limit. Ethiopia is... But still, Morocco should be able to crush all of them. Is Alex playing or is he AFK? I'm not sure. And let's see what the force over here are. There's a lot of them. And you can just defend on mountains if you want to, but you are giving up the war goal, which is in South Africa of all places. This is weird. And meanwhile, Gokturks didn't... they got caught by John's Vikings. And looks like they got defeated in 2 separate battles. They are recruiting a lot of cavalry. They should be taking all the loans available too. They don't have any, but... Oh, I'm out of sync. Just continue. When I crash, I might hot join or not. Or just wait for the break. Wait, it's actually going to be break right now. So I might do a quick hot join and see how it works. It's actually been working. What? Ayyubids are withdrawing after taking nothing. And Ethiopians control Futa. Futa has been ravaged by Ethiopian troops in Africa. But what the hell is this war? And okay, Ruthenia has probably access through Prussia, but those borders are really weird. I'm not sure why they're... Oh, okay, I noticed out. So when they're not piecing out Ingolstadt. Okay, looks like it's break for 15 minutes. I'm gonna go and do a hot join. And looks like we're getting back in action. Yep, Jukes people are still playing, though I'm actually kind of thankful I missed the first hour because nothing happened before the break like nothing. Now Gokturks are being invaded by Russia and Joms Vikings, and Gokturks are not doing well. They were actually not doing too bad. If they managed to reinforce properly, it might have been something. But I heard some news about some Chinese reinforcements coming in eventually once they like each other enough. That might happen. Also, we have a war between Morocco, Africans, and Morocco is being supported by Caribbean and Australia. But like Ibits for a while were sieging this fort, and Australians moved in to check them, but now they just withdrawn, and Ethiopians are just continuing to occupy after steamrolling the Futa fort. So I'm not sure what's that all about. Maybe that they have a deal that they're just Moroccans are just gonna give up Fulo? Or maybe just Coast, Ivory Coast? We'll see. Let's see if Gokturks will be able to put up some good resistance. I mean, on paper they're not that bad, I don't think so. Oh wow! Russia has 130 discipline. They have inspirational leader for 3 more years, so actually that's not too long. But decent morale as well compared to Gokturks. Actually, Joms Vikings out of all of them have the lowest morale, which is not something I would expect. But yeah, they have the higher discipline than Russia, but they're not gonna run out of it. Swedish still is their national idea, right? Offensive, quality, that's 15, religion, it's 20. Absolutism, advisor, and the policy. Okay. That's the advisors for... yeah, Russians also have. And Gokturks are going for discipline, which they have the... yeah, they have higher than Joms Viking, so it's not bad. It looks like they're kind of unable to get good battles. They should have some decent numbers, and I mean that's a long distance to coordinate your armies. It's gonna take a long time for those guys to get to actual battle. Yeah, like it's gonna take a long time for those guys to get to like over here. Oh, okay, here comes another battle. And it just so happens that the Gokturks actually enforce, and they're already going from the south as well. So they have a decent reinforcement. They have, not that great leader. They at least have bonus 25 on the flat terrain, but the leader difference really sucks. And I mean, 15%, more than 15% discipline also pretty sucks. But there's gonna be a lot of typing troops joining, hopefully pretty soon. They lost a lot of horde unity, which also lowers their discipline. And they really need a lot of discipline. Yeah, I'm rooting for Asia over the Eastern Hugbox. I mean, they at least started war versus Ottomans and ended in a week in game. Eastern Alliance never started war versus Ottomans. The Gokturks actually managed to continue this battle for quite a while, and at this point, there's almost the Eastern Alliance is almost out of Vikings, and Russians are not. Actually, they are pretty similar in discipline for the time being. Hey, banana. Damn, Jukes. You should have subbed something like Bengal. Be like Chad Fellis, build a lot of naval batteries. So it looks like it's the entire Gokturk army in this battle. And wait, are there... if they managed to win... oh yeah, they won! Wow, nice! And they might also get a stack wipe. You know that the mods are too bad to end the campaign for you, right? You realize that. But you're playing as kobolds, so it's fine. I still don't get how you've managed to get your cores back when joining the other alliance. But that was some impressive Diplo. Oh yeah, there's a stack wipe for Gokturks. And now they can just continue stack wiping because, well, okay. Oh, they're not gonna be on time. Yeah, that's not gonna be on time. Still a good victory, like it pretty much breaks. No, Bengal missing, and it's actually round 2 that Punjab is going after them. We're missing Bengal, France is absent, England I think was absent last session, and we're missing Texas. I think like Bengal mentioned something about his screen being broken. Actually, wait, I need to remove this song. I don't like it. Give me some falalan. Looks like the Moroccan. Okay. So Morocco just gave up a bit of Sahel. Oh, what were you playing, Jux? In this campaign? You're not playing the blue scale in this. Or red scale. Oh yeah, Lithuania. I mean, Lithuania is still here. It's doing okay. I guess it just needed a bit better player to control it. And damn, Gokturks are actually pushing the Easterners back on their own. I mean, only for the time being, if they manage to sustain the pressure. Yeah, so you're saying that the current Lithuanian player is better than you in Diplo. Interesting. And will Russians reinforce on time? No. Yeah, it's not that great. Is there, like, on the mainland, I don't think there's anything that's weaker than them. I think Ethiopia is stronger. Oh, maybe not. Maybe Ethiopia is currently somewhat weaker than Russia. But Russia is also surrounded by way stronger nations. Oh, they went defensive third. And Gokturks might have overextended a bit going into Jones Vikings. That's... I mean, they actually have a better leader in Shock, which is nice. Oh, okay, their line is collapsing, never mind. Yeah, Swissjacker and Thunder, for some god-known reason, decided to co-op on the Caribbean nation. And currently they're not doing anything, both of them. Though it's nice to see how the UI for the secondary controller looks for once. Makes you think they could have just went and added the gray crown for secondary controller and not add anything for the primary one, but... another battle lost by Gokturks. I think, yeah, at this point Russians and Vikings pretty much recovered, and now they will be able to fight with their full force. Banana, are you only now getting to meet Jux? And actually, I think typing should be able to enforce peace any minute now. Yeah, Jux, believe it or not, Jux is a master of diplomacy. So, you know, if he's being rude to you, that means that's fulfilling some kind of secret plan of his. Perhaps in the future will bore fruit. Currently he's playing in the Unbanner campaign as kobolds. and well, struggling, but surviving somehow, some way. And is okay. Taiping is in. Yes, which is like a nice change of pace, because usually we have just retards in our Europe. Now that Taiping is officially in, the numbers are actually better for the Asians. The Taiping sent actually... No, Taiping is keeping like almost 200k of troops, even more. And... oh, actually wait. That's 150... 200... 250k troops in China and Japan. Still, 100, almost 200k Gokturk cavalry is, I think, even better than that. So the numbers should be better for the Asians now. And let's see, are the Vikings keeping any reserves? No. They're actually going all in, and they're having court and country. Russia is, I'm gonna do a quick check on manpower. Russia is doing surprisingly well. Oh, excuse me. They are going over force limit, as to just a tiny bit the Vikings. They have really not lost that much. I suppose it's mostly Vikings doing the fighting, and Russians got like stack wiped, so they're not really losing manpower as long as they're not recruiting new stacks. They might have been more over the force limit before. Gokturks are 150k in debt when it comes to manpower. They should be starting to recruit mercenaries pretty soon. Though they actually... they're not doing that bad, though they're also not taking loans. With like 1/3, 1/4 of their nation occupied right now, that's unfortunate. They're losing a lot of their loan cap. And of course, actually wait, Taiping's manpower is not that much bigger than Job's Vikings, and let's see, professionalism. Yeah, that's a lot of manpower available. No for Russia. A bit for... okay, so Gokturk's actually doing not great, but they do have manpower if they want to. And Taiping don't have that much. Yeah, we know people in Europe having 100%. Yeah, Prussia and Ottomans. Punjab, not that much. Oh, we have Deccan showing up. And now looks like the Easterners are much more careful about doing anything. Göktürke Stämme. All because of the German save editing. They're not... there's the issue with invading Gokturks, there are no forts in this area. They actually own like... one? No, wait, they actually have forts protecting their gold mine, which is actually pretty damn smart. They have like 3, not counting their capital one. So it's basically very difficult to control territory unless you're keeping your actual troops on the provinces. So now in the north they're keeping the Easterners' army in check, even though I suppose in this situation they're the Westerners. I don't believe they are. So in theory Ruthenia could be called in because they were allied before the war started.
Hello there.
Hello. Who's there?
Ayyubids.
Ah, yeah, Ayyubids. What was the Moroccan war about? This was really
we
weird.
declared a vassal war and he just said, send the peace. Okay.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like, he didn't even move his troops. and there were already like 150k Australians waiting, so it's like confused. I was thinking maybe
Yeah,
like
I saw.
you got some kind of deal to fight with Australia, but that would be strange.
No, I don't know what he did. Like he just said the Pizu.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that land doesn't really matter to
There are
Morocco.
2 gold provinces, and he was about to integrate it. So
Here
I
comes
need.
Knowles. Wait, okay, now it works.
Oh, I need to buy some dolls.
Yeah.
I will embrace the waifus. Yeah.
I didn't turn it on
Oh.
for yeah, because I have to redo it every week. And I forgot for this one because I was late, but luckily I didn't miss anything. I don't think so. Okay, they just are all really scared and just eating a lot of attrition. Both sides. Only 1%, that's not that bad, just kind of bad. 2%, 2%, 1%, 2%. About Germans Viking and their giant stacks of 130k, 3%. It's gonna be a lot of attrition every week. And they're going for double battle on steppes versus Gokturks, and it's Gokturks only. And one of them is just pure cavalry stack with no cannons. What's the current combat with? Because those, yeah, 32. Those unit numbers are kind of weird. Oh, Jumps Viking managed to get a bunch more morale, like a full point. Oh damn! I guess I'm not sure how. But yeah, they clearly increased their morale by quite a bit. They're going for 2 battles at the same time. And they're not really doing that hot on the main one. And Taiping actually reinforced with cannon stack in the south. There's not that many cannons in the back row. Oh my god, there's barely any. That's bad. It seems like they're slowly getting more, but this battle is kind of bad for the Asians. This one is much better. That's how you wanted this to see. I really can't tell if there are any cannons in there or not. I think there are cannons. That's really bad. Taiping actually reinforced with another cannon stack this battle. I'm not sure if that was that worth it because there's no force anyway. They should have gone for additional battle, to be honest, because Jones Viking have 2 cannon stacks as well. Where's the Russian cannon stack? Because apparently they have one. Okay, double loss. That's unfortunate. Oh, Ruthenia just joined. So Russia doesn't have a cannon stack. And Ruthenia is sending a lot of troops towards Asia. Yeah, good thing they're only winning. So they clearly need additional 200k to be sent from Ruthenia. Actually, even more. Yeah, that's a lot of troops. Taiping might need to send a bit more. Oh my god, why would you do this? I mean, the Easterners are gonna lose a lot of manpower fighting this war. Did his army professionalism actually increase? I think it might have. Checking the manpowers because there's so much attrition and the battles are kind of bloody as well. With cavalry pretty much on steppes only. There are a fair amount of mountains a bit further to the east, but that's all. Just fighting in this area is just bad. Where are the Gokturks going? Okay, to the capital, that's not too bad. Yet Taiping is sending additional troops. That's what, 60k. That's not gonna be enough. They should be aware that Rufinia joined because they still gotten a pop-up, and actually right now they can see. Oh my god, that attrition. I want to see how much they eat on when there's full 300k. Is it 5%? Full 5%? And they might, yeah, they won't be in the same province by the time. Still, Rufinia is gonna lose a bunch. Wait, Rufinia has... Huh, Rufinia has the highest manpower out of the Eastern Alliance. Despite not being by far the largest nation. Currently, Prussia is bigger than Vikings. Huh. Though Vikings are still the only one with real money. Yeah, Ottomans are almost getting to 600 ducats. Malaya, though, is finally getting that trade money where they wanted to, almost making 900 ducats. Taiping has a 5-6, that's a really great leader, and another one. They really should be going for at least 2 battles with full cannons. If not more, since they have just enough cannon stacks. I think this situation when you can get battles on even terrain, I guess it depends on what's their third best leader. 3-4 for Gokturks, maybe Taiping us. Taiping maybe could try and roll something better. I mean, even Gokturks might be able to get weapons. They are actually fairly close to the next Miltech. Taiping can already take it. Russians, the Easterners already have the next Miltech. I'm not sure what the Asians are waiting for. I mean, Gokturks are waiting for mana, obviously, but Taiping could take it. Actually, Taiping is still not the Celestial Empire. He could have formed it before joining the war with not much issue. Yes, poor uniforms, that's unfortunate. Yeah, his morale is not that great. Discipline is okay. He's not even getting full policies. He could get RT compatibility at least. So he's not really committing that much. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. When is the court? I don't think I can check when the court and country is ending. 10 years. It's gonna be a while. No, it's actually 4 years. It should be ending soon for Taiping, I think. Because they've been in court and country for a while before this war started. Which also is, I think, the only war going on in the entire world. Oh, there's no ledger. So I can't really check that, but I mean, there's like 10 AIs in places other than North America, so. And most of them are vassals of Bengal. Oh, Great Britain is actually a... What? Great Britain is actually going for colonial conquest as an AI at this part of the game. That's bold, but I like it. There's a lot of Ruthenians, a lot of Gokturks, a lot of Chinese. Still a lot of troops remaining in Far East. Not really necessary there. There's no one rebel stack of 14k coming in a few years, but other than that, that's it. So if Taiping wanted, oh, they actually keep one cannon stack in Canton. Okay, this explains why they didn't go for. So wait, so they have 3 cannon stacks? Yeah, Taiping alone has 3 cannon stacks. Okay, they're going to open a battle. They have superior leader to Jones Vikings in shock, which is very nice for Gokturks. The secondary stack for Jones Vikings is preparing to do something. We also have infantry in the north. Ruthenia is on the border with their cannon stack. This is gonna be huge. Russians are not planning to flank from the south, at least not yet. And the Vikings are going to attack the reinforcements province. There will be still one open from the north, but Taiping is already losing. On the 9th they will arrive. Oh my god, no, okay, that's bad. In the north, oh, that's really bad roll for Gokturks. And Gokturks are getting slaughtered. The reinforcements. And in the north, they're getting wrecked. Okay, that was kind of bad. And now there's Gokturk stack being left behind. And the Viking cannon stack is going to just plop them. So another set of new wars. Oof. Taiping managed to reinforce. There's the cannon stacks. The cannons are decently filling the back row. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And the rest of reinforcements of the Eastern Alliance are kind of far away. But if they attack correctly, they might cut off this entire army from reinforcing this one province. What's that new war about? Is it a fake one? Okay, so it's Caribbeans, Australia, Malaya, going for Vikings, Russia, Ruthenia, and not Prussia? Prussia has a truce with the entire Eastern Alliance. And okay, so Australians and the Americans are invading Ireland. And yeah, looks like Prussia is just sitting that one out. They're just chilling. Vikings do have 150k in Scotland, so it's they will be able to protect that one. They also have 60 galleys to protect the straits to the Baltic Sea, but that might not be enough. There's a lot of troops of Ruthenia, but that should mean that there's a lot less troops from the Vikings in Siberia, I think. Unless they're going massively over force limit. They are going massively. Is this just mercs? Yeah. They're not even losing money. Wow. They're 100 over force limit. What? How is that possible? Seems really cheap, their army. Yeah, they're spending about as much, only slightly more than Ottomans, who are not going over force limit at all. They do have bigger army, but they're not using any mercs. Yeah, it's surprised that Prussia decided to leave this war. That's interesting. Because the Prussian army would have been able to defend the entire coast from the colonials, yeah. The collies. Oh my god, the Asians are getting... Oh, what the hell are those guys got? Wait, it's Ruthenians. Ruthenians got defeated in the north. The colors are kind of similar. Ruthenians got defeated in the north, Gokturks got defeated in center, and Chinese are going over there. I think Gokturks got caught in... Oh, they might get stack wiped. This was a stack wipe from Taiping. And not really the best timing of reinforcements. Yeah, they're getting pushed quite a bit. Where's the Jumps Vikings army? Are they all going back? No, their numbers are still the same. Yeah, I guess they're just not showing up in this province. And there's not that many of them. Oh, yeah, I guess they're kind of low on manpower. 300k that they could just slacken. Maybe they don't want to do that. Gokturks might be getting wrecked. Typing is missing 140k. They're not even close to their force limit, and they're still keeping 200k in the Far East. Let's see how many more troops are the Collies going to bring in. That's additional 40k. Yeah, so that's 50k from Caribbeans, so half of their army is in Ireland currently. And almost the entire Australian army. It looks like they will be trying, yeah, they will be taking over Iceland and probably other islands on the coast. Malaya is doing the blockade on this entire area with their light ships. Where's the Malayan Navy proper? Where's the Malayan army for that? Okay, they are pirating the Italians. And yeah, the galleys are actually forcing their way into the... I think... Yeah, Viking Navy got completely destroyed by Malaya, which is what you would expect when fighting a naval nation, when you're a land-focused nation. But wow, like the Europeans are pushing surprisingly easily into Siberia. And they might just be getting good battles. It's not just about like they just had superior numbers that much that they are just crashing through. It might be that they're just getting much better battles because in Siberia it's difficult to fight, and it might be they're just fighting better than typing in Gokturks. No, I suppose they also might have better numbers at this point. Ruthenia is sending a whole bunch back. Yeah, Ruthenia is keeping a lot of troops in Europe. I think it would be very difficult for the colonials to actually... Oh, there's the one of the Mzab republics. New Mzab Republic is nowhere to be seen. They're fighting AIs in Mexico. It's the Malayan army. Malayan army is all over the place. Other than this one 10k stack that's moving to Cape Verde. Okay, tapping is getting pretty much cut off. Though they still might win because there's no reinforcements coming. If they get some good rolls... Actually, they didn't even need good rolls versus the Russians. And this battle is looking okay. The back row is almost all cannons for the Asians. That might be the thing. The Asians are mostly in the defensive and they're not getting the full cannon back row properly because of how the reinforcements work in this game. Yeah, you see there's some cavalry in there. It's inefficient usage of your units. But now that Jump Viking stack is... yeah, that's isolated. And now they're actually getting to some forts. The only forts that the Gokturks have. They also have one more, I suppose. Not really sure why. Here of all places. Oh, Syrian. There you go. Here's the Poland Bulls. Currently we have the Eastern Alliance fighting two wars. First is versus Gokturks and the Chinese, and the other war is versus the colonials with Malaya. And mostly they're pushing in Siberia, but they've lost Ireland already. Which, I mean, is actually... Oh yeah, Vikings only recruited those troops as mercenaries. It's 150k. I wonder if there's no cannons. And I think the quality for Australia is not that bad. That's not that great for Caribbeans. Offensive quality plutocratic? Not that much in national ideas. Not too bad though, they might be able to do something. Jomsviking can increase their morale by quite a bit, but if they had like a bit more in numbers and the full cannon stack. Oh, they're actually... Yeah, they actually managed to occupy the Denmark Islands. And they're taking more. That's really annoying. There's no war goal. So it's actually gonna be really difficult to force this war to end. They could snipe those islands, that would be really annoying too. Because it cuts off access between Finland and Sweden. Makes it much more difficult to get around. And they already can't get from their central European holdings into Scandinavia. So to be honest, invading Scandinavia might be possible at this point. And then they might be pushed out, but it's not impossible. The Asians managed to win a few battles, but there's a lot more Vikings coming. Taiping is going for some bold attacks on an infantry stack with a really nice general. That's good from Russia to keep an eye on those generals. That's very important. But there's Ruthenia coming with almost full cannon stack. Here we have manufactories. The Gokturks are coming. They don't have any cannons, so if Vikings just come in, they can cut them off. Yeah, and that's what they're gonna do. There will be some of the Gokturks will make there, but it's only 38k manpower in 95 regiments. That's not gonna be good. And they're gonna be... wait, it's on the same day. What's gonna happen? Okay, so Gokturks will manage to enforce just barely. That was close, actually. There's still one cannon stack for Jomsvikings, but they're kind of abandoning old battles. And Russians are going south? No, they're actually going to the proper province, but it might be too late. Yeah, the cannons are gone, the line is collapsing. If they're managed to reinforce, it's gonna be too late, and yeah, it's gonna be too late. There's a lot more troops coming, they're gonna get, if not stack wiped, wrecked quite heavily, and yeah, they're locked in. They're not gonna get stack wiped because they actually reinforce. They don't have leader now, oh, and I praised Russia for keeping an eye on that. And it's a 5-6. Oh my god, that's slaughter. Oh my god, that's bad. And they won in here as well. Jomsvikings managed to lay siege to the Gokturk capital, but Taiping is on it. There's more troops for Jomsvikings, but they're not... That's a lot of troops. They should consolidate, especially with this stack so much behind the enemy lines. They're not really fighting efficiently. Like, some of those regiments have zero fighting power. They're really useless. And it's actually, they're fighting on mountains, so that's actually kind of bad for Vikings. Somehow they're getting better rolls anyway, but that's, I mean, you can always win with this. Chinese are reinforcing, the Gokturks are coming in, which I'm not sure is good, because that's gonna give minus 25% in shock to their entire side. Really nice leader trait on the Vikings general. 10% infantry compatibility. I think that might be the best one you could possibly get. Taiping is also attacking the Viking stack in the north, and it wasn't reinforced properly with manpower. So now they're not dealing any damage and just losing troops, because they have like how many regiments in here? Yeah, 100 regiments of infantry and like 10k manpower. Oh, and my god, and they might get stuck with the almost entire army of Job's Vikings, who are going 200 over force limit and barely losing money. Okay, let's see. Why are they not consolidating? Yeah, their army is just not fighting that well. They are defending mountains now, so that's something. And maybe Taiping is not really consolidating as well. They have like 50% manpower, which is still a lot better than what Vikings have. Vikings have like 10% manpower in their regiments. They're actually going to withdraw properly, so that's okay for Vikings. But their army is not going to be efficient unless they actually consolidate or let them regain the manpower. But it's gonna be a while. 300k, that's a lot. Oof. 2.5 million. And only 700 from attrition, so that means they've lost more in battles than Gokturks. Which, to be fair, Gokturks are losing cavalry, so they're always gonna lose a bit less than when their enemies are using infantry. And yeah, Australia is actually trying to take some provinces in Denmark, which is only like short term. Ruthenia is preventing a landing on Ozel. That's probably like localized name of this province. So yeah, the colonials are not going to make it over here. The Vikings managed to secure Eland, but they're not controlling. Okay, they're resieging Stockholm. This province is actually, I think, really important after already losing Denmark, which is very annoying for them. And what is Prussia doing? Prussia is not reallying anyone. This is interesting. Like, Prussia might have some new plans about what to do. And Morocco is being supported by Vermont and Australia. Ottomans still being allied to Italy and Ayyubids. And now is the time for the Asians to start pushing back a little bit. Since last time they managed to stop the European tide, they lost this much of ground, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much. They didn't lose their gold mine for any period of time, which is, I mean, at this point, is probably not that much income. It's actually, it is a fair amount of income, especially with all of those provinces occupied. And that means that the Europeans will not be able to enforce peace with 50% because they're just off. And they have actually full ticking, so it's not gonna get better for them for at least a little bit. It's also much easier for the Asians to fight because they actually can see everything, unlike the Europeans, which is why I was so surprised that they're actually getting worse battles. It's actually like, okay, that's 50k infantry in 300 regiments. That's just not good. I mean, I suppose Vikings are just too busy with fighting for their islands at the same time to micro everything, but their infantry is just not doing that much in actual fighting. As you can see, it's just them taking damage. In Shocked it's a bit better, but they're constantly getting more damage, even when the rolls are not that different. Okay, that's a great roll for Vikings, but this one is just one different, and Taiping was slaughtering them. Okay, Taiping is trying to cut off the Russian reinforcements. There's also a Ruthenian cannon stack coming. They all have just empty regiments. Okay, this is... some fresh Chinese troops. This one is pretty well reinforced. Did Taiping? No, Taiping is still keeping most of his army in East Asia. He did recruit a bit more, so I think he's adding a bit more troops. And I think with Taiping cutting off all of those reinforcements, might be even winning this battle anyways. This one, okay, this one actually lost. Okay, never mind. It's not gonna go that good. This stack is gonna suffer a fair amount because, as usual, it's not fully reinforced. But here comes the Vikings. Okay, they managed to come in time from the east. And all of those troops are gonna get caught. Maybe not all of them. Meanwhile, in Europe, they actually managed to retake Danish islands. I'm not sure how they managed to do it when there's a huge Malayan fleet in here. Oh, it's... Prussians are putting their army in there. That's a bit exploity. They're probably now waiting to enforce peace. Wait. Can they not enforce peace? Or am I just doing it incorrectly? Okay, then are they improving? Yeah, that's Great Britain. They have fully improved relations. They got black flagged. Oh, nice. Epic. Yeah, that's actually deserved. You got planned, didn't work out. And they're actually going for a separate war. Which, to be fair, might not be that bad because Prussia only has the English part that is possibly invaded from ships. And they have a lot of troops in there already. And their mainland is pretty much impossible to invade. But yeah, the plan was clearly different. It just didn't work out. Okay, Chinese managed to re-establish themselves with pretty decent numbers in here. They're just eating a lot of attrition as it stands. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot. But once the Europeans gather themselves, okay, it looks like John's Vikings are finally consolidating some of their troops. Yeah, they lost 200 regiments. I mean, I don't think Punjab could even take the east on its own. Like, they have 700 force limit, so it's 300, 400, 400, 400. Like, they have double his force limit. I mean, when they're all fighting each other, it can go anyway, but yeah, there's a big battle coming on, but I don't think that Taiping troops have even a chance. There's double the numbers of Europeans around them, and any reinforcements are far back. Where is the Goktuk army, by the way? Oh, it's gone. Yeah, they're basically out of manpower. They could get some mercenaries, so I'm not sure why they're not doing that. Taiping is not doing that well manpower-wise either, but they have professionalism at least, and they have much higher recovery. Russia is doing something probably to regain their professionalism, but they're not gaining that much anyways. Ruthenia is the one nation probably. Oh wow! Vikings actually spent all of their professionalism, and they're still like barely above for manpower, so Ruthenia is the only one with decent numbers. And it might end up that they would be forced to bear the brunt of fight in Siberia, but that's just sucking manpower out of every nation. Those Chinese troops are getting kind of isolated. Where are they withdrawing? Not perfect, but it's okay. Let's check that Punjabi quality. I mean, they're not the only nation with 130 discipline. Like, Russia just had it a while ago with their event. Almost everyone is at war, so who isn't? Rosvi is going for a jihad against Ethiopia. Oh, yeah, that's actually a fairly interesting war. Depends on what Ayyubids. Yeah, Ayyubids are joining into sport. Let's check on paper. Ayyubids have a lot of professionalism. 500. The income is better for the alliance. And force limit is way better for the defenders, but Rosvi has the advantage of striking in first, and it will take a long time for Ayyubids to get to the south. And are Ayyubids supported? Ayyubids are doing this solo. It's actually not looking good. And they have 3 cannon stacks, which I believe might be a bit over ambitious for a nation of their size. Oh yeah. Ethiopia has 2. Yeah, which means they actually have a lot more infantry. Suddenly there's a lot of stuff going on, which is fairly nice. The one issue with Ruthenia starting to bear the brunt of fighting is their army quality is not the same as Vikings. It's not bad, but not great. And it's actually time for the Chinese to be superior to Ruthenians. There's still some Jones Viking in the area, but yeah, depending on how rolls go, I wouldn't be surprised if Asians end up winning this battle. Goktuks are slowly trying to reform their army. They almost have 100k again. And yeah, they're one of their 3 stacks is fighting in Siberia. Meanwhile, let's see if anything changed in the colonial war. Prussia is occupying all of England. They probably want to take land in a way that wouldn't prevent them from accessing stuff. All of the islands everywhere are being either occupied or secured. Australia is taking Orkney. The Isles are also vulnerable. Man is being invaded. I'm out of sync again, which is fine, I suppose. Like, it's no issue if I stay until the game crashes, and then I'll just hot drink quickly. Okay, so unfortunately the Rosvi attack ended up in a bit of a turnabout, with Ethiopia winning all 3 battles. And now starting to push back, and Rosvi doesn't have that many forts in the Congo area. And Ayyubids potentially could invade from nowhere. I guess they could not do anything. Yeah, they're just chilling. Because I guess they saw that Ethiopia was doing fine. And Rosvi is going for an offensive battle on Highlands instead of a neutral battle on Savannah. Ethiopia has a far better leader than Rosvi, though, which is probably... Oof. That 4-6 might be carrying Ethiopia to the victory, to be honest. Yeah, Rosvi just doesn't have any good leaders to... And a 6-2. I think Ethiopia just has it in the back based on the military leaders. Well, it's just Highlands, Jax, okay? Just Highlands. Let's not get overexcited over the local height of the terrain. And okay, the war between Asia and the Easterners is over, with millions dead. And let's see, how long is the truce? White peace. Yeah, just as I said, he probably should have invaded into the fort, but you know, I think with the leaders, it's kind of impossible for Rosvi to win. It's gonna be real tough. So now the Easterners are free from the black hole of manpower that was Siberia. Not to mention all of those battles, which actually caused them more losses than attrition overall, somehow. Oh my god, the 6-6. Pretty nice. And now, yeah, Vikings lost all of their professionalism. They have like 50k after all the losses are removed. Russia is out. Yeah, and even with many mercenaries, okay, they are securing the islands, so they won't be losing them. They lost Man, unfortunately. They have a lot of mercenaries, like 150k in Scotland, and I think that's it. They're recruiting a bit more manpower troops. And this is another stack of... oh, that's nice. 15% morale. They must have like crazy morale at this point. It might change on the tick or something. Let's wait a bit. Oh, I thought it would be like 8, but not, unfortunately. But the thing is, this war is probably not going to be manpower. Oh wow, the Great Blot. Oh, it's one of the probably custom events for... Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty nice. It's not going to be manpower like that they're gonna be losing. It's money, I assume, from blockades and stuff and occupations. But it's going to be very difficult to do anything in this war for colonials as well, because they won't be able to gain enough war score. Wait, it was the Caribbeans who started the war on Prussia, which caused them to get black flagged. I suppose because if Prussia joined the currently going battle, they wouldn't get black flagged? I think. Huh. And yeah, Ethiopia is pushing. They managed to get one fort, which actually, damn, it was pretty quick, to be honest. Though manpower for Ethiopia is not looking that great. They only have 100k left, and Rosvi has 3 times as much. They have similar professionalism. Yeah, I thought Prussia just started the war on their own and then just got black flagged and just had to come back, but if it was done by the colonials, then it was a pretty good move. Though how they managed to do anything with this war, it's beyond me. The prosperity of this entire region is gonna get... I mean, to be honest, prosperity of Europe is pretty bad because of the pirates in the Mediterranean as well. And the war versus AIs in parts of Western Europe. Though, actually, Siberia is much... 83%, and there's no forts, it's just never gonna go down. Wait, so it's about 1 per year? So it's by itself it's gonna go down in 8 years. Bengal is also slightly devastated from all the wars on the AI. There's a bit of devastation in Japan. Huh. The army groups north, center and south returning from the Eastern Front. God, look at those soldiers. And when they walked east, they were just so brave and proud. I mean, they're not really returning humiliated. I suppose kinda it's a white peace. And they were the aggressor, so it's a defeat in a sense. There's Protestant zealots in... I mean, I guess... Yeah, the colonials should for sure try and invade. the Brittany, because I assume France is not giving access to the nations that are constantly conquering them. Or they are. Yeah, because they're giving access to an AI Ryazan. Punjab is sending subsidies to France? The hell? Oh. Okay, now it's something. And Ottomans are now going after Gokturks? Okay, because that's the opportunity. Finally, the Gokturks are weakened. Now it's your chance to invade them. No, it's not the exhausted Eastern Alliance that's still struggling to find some way to end this war when they're using endless amount of cash. I mean, just the fact that their troops are spread over such a wide area. Oh, they're not paying attention to Eland. Oh, and that's gonna be Crush, of course. That's an unfortunate timing. That should be pretty quick fortune for me. And we're back in business. Yeah, it looks like... Oh, yep, Turks are coming. At least they didn't call in any allies. And the Chinese are actually going to challenge them. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, when Felis is gets slower, he just doesn't pick into the game, so you know. Prussians are taking Denmark. Westphalia is what? Ah, it's gonna invade by Ruthenia. I mean, frankly, Ottomans are the nation that could fight both Gokturks and the Eastern Alliance at this point. With Gokturks pretty much spent, so they're not really able to support Taiping that much. They will be throwing almost 250,000 men. That's probably mostly mercenaries. No. Looks like that's gonna be mostly manpower troops, because yeah, it's all Cav. Okay. Taiping is doing pretty badly. And it's gonna be a while before, like, Ottomans actually have so much gain per month. And if they keep all of their stacks like 75, it's only not even 2% of attrition, so actually they're not doing too bad. I mean, I guess if Morocco ever wanted to invade, that would be a nice timing. And looks like the attempted invasion of Eland didn't really work, because Russians are still managing to protect that one. What are the vassals doing in northern Scandinavia? 5-5-2-1 from Moldavia. Hot damn, that's a good ruler, a good general. Keeping going with those Vikings and Prussian troops in GB at once is being kind of unnecessary. Though I suppose if the colonials were to do an invasion anywhere, it would most likely be from Ireland, because you have the most provinces in this area, so you can get really a lot of troops in here. Italy is going for yet another round versus France. They won't be dead again. GP. Yeah, Prussia built a lot of heavies. And Morocco has a lot of heavies. Why are people building heavies? Let's see how many Turks are coming. 200k, 300k, 400k, so a bit over 400k. There's apparently 250 1,000 troops of Kokturks. So I guess unless Ottomans send more troops... Okay, they are sending a lot more troops. But still, if there's any area where you could win with superior enemies, it's probably in Siberia. Unless you have like a shit ton of mountain forts. But because it's so difficult to properly fight battles in those huge provinces. And I mean that all of that devastation is... Yeah, it's not helping supply limits. Yeah, devastation map mode is definitely interesting. Right now Punjab really should invade Ottomans. That would be perfect timing. And they actually do have... They don't have a border, wow. I mean, they could easily gain access from Kokturks, I assume. Just that they wouldn't be able to gain much. Oh, that might actually be happening. Okay. Ethiopia is pushing quite a bit into Rozvi at this point. And yeah, their superior leaders 1-0 for Rozvi versus a 6-2. That's very tough. Rozvi is just unknowingly picked the worst possible timing, and Ibis are not really... Are they? Yeah, they left the war, which is actually kind of nice of them. There was really no need for them to participate, since Ethiopia is just doing really well just on their own, despite having like half the income of Rozvi, if I recall. Yeah. Now I think it's coming. Oh lord, he's coming. Hopefully it's on the Ottomans. I mean, they could potentially declare on Ayyubids, but frankly I think Ottomans just wouldn't join. Or they could declare straight up on Ottomans. Do they have any CB? Trade dispute, I suppose. And yeah, there actually might be first battles in Siberia in the new war. Actually, can't... No, Punjab. Ottomans cannot see Punjab, though they're getting some... Oh, okay, they're probably not paying attention. They shouldn't. Oh, Taiping is getting a nice little victory on Ottoman infantry stack, while they're also getting a pretty good fight in the north, though the Ottoman cannon stack is hunting and they're fighting something. They're fighting a juicy 60k cavalry stack, but that's not gonna be that great because they don't have any reinforcements. Their men cannon stack, yeah, that's the thing. The entire Ottoman army is too far back to reinforce, so they actually have to pull back. And they don't really have much choice. Oh my god, those... Yeah, the cannon stack is actually withdrawing all the way back to Astrakhan. That's kind of annoying. How many cannon stacks do Ottomans have? Only 3. Yeah, so far they've lost every battle. This makes things annoying, because if they actually want to use their full force, they need to withdraw their entire army, but maybe they think they can just... Okay, that's... Where's the next cannon stack? Nowhere to be seen. They actually need to withdraw their entire army, I think. Yeah, at least to here. Until they get an infantry stack, because I mean they might win with pure infantry, but that would be just inefficient and I mean they might not even win. Yeah, Ottomans are pretty much throwing in their entire army into Siberia. Yeah, 750,000 men. But I mean, if Taiping actually decides to pick up the gauntlet thrown by Ottomans, takes the troops for Japan, I suppose Taiwan is about to have rebels, so that's understandable. He's also going for a war on Bengal. Which I mean he'll win, but it's going to be costly in micro. Oh, that's... no, that's still the cannon stack withdrawing. Oh my god. Now that's some attrition. Yeah, the colonists... Australia managed to do a nice sneak attack in the back door. Like Malaya, if they wanted to, they could bring in really a lot of troops. Oh, what the hell? Oh my god, Vikings managed to land. What? What? How? What? How? Oh my god, the stack wipe. I mean, they won't be able to get across the strait, but that's gonna be annoying. How the hell did that happen? Maybe they just walked. Like, frankly, yeah, Punjab. And maybe they cancelled, but yeah, I think they just walked. And I mean, no, oh wait, they might have been black flagged in Göktürk? Or either way, they were in Göktürk territory, so it's not even like they're halfway there already. So I guess they just walked. That's I think that makes the most sense because they couldn't have recruited manpower troops. Okay, that's pretty sweet, I have to say. Not sure how much it's gonna hurt the Malayan income. Well, hard to tell until they actually occupy everything. But at least like their war exhaustion. They have Defender of Faith, so it's not gonna increase that much yet. I don't think, even with all of those occupations. But that's still some devastation, and that's some precious war score that the colonials are going to be losing. Which means it's going to be even harder for them to do anything. And the Ottoman army is split in two. Which is fine if the Ottomans have the initiative and they start the next battle, but if they don't, then it's kind of bad. Because it's going to be a long time before they are able to reinforce. Punjab army is still posed in Persia, but Deccan is actually, yeah, it's probably starting war on Bengal. Wait, yeah, Punjab has full military maintenance. I mean, he has truce with Bengal for the next 5 years, so I'm not sure why he's moving his army over there. Okay. Okay, there's another battle won by the Asians. And now the Ottoman army is really split in two. They even have one cannon stack just stuck in the middle of nowhere. They might get pretty decent battle on... those guys are gonna be just late, but it's... so the cannons are not going to be properly positioned, but it's not gonna be that bad. The reinforcements are going to be there, so I think they will win this battle as well. And there's not enough troops in the south to do anything, so they're just gonna be pushed straight out. They won't be able to push... well, they might take Tehran, and then it's modern force. I don't think they stand a chance on mountains versus Ottomans. But from the north, it's just drylands, steppes, drylands over here as well, and only then mountains. And even then, they could go through Crimea possibly if they really wanted to, and then access to Constantinople is open. Which, I mean, that getting there would be a pretty ambitious plan, but it's not impossible without fighting on modern forts, which I think is the key they want to avoid. And I mean, Ottomans only lost 100k. Yeah, I mean, Gokturks somehow managed to field almost full force limit despite being totally out of manpower last war. Oh my god, they almost able to take 21 tech, which Ottomans already have. Oh my god, of course I'm out of sync again. I'm thinking whether I should just leave. Before I mean, I can just change my name again, I suppose. You know, it looks like Ethiopia won. And they did take something. What? Rosvi took something? Yeah, they didn't have access to oil. So somehow Rosvi actually managed to gain land despite losing. Ethiopia is out of manpower mostly, and Rosvi isn't, so maybe that's what it's all about. Ethiopia only has 50k. 7 loans, 3 loans for Rosvi. So I guess Rosvi just used their superior southern hordes to overwhelm Ethiopia somehow. The air superiority, yes. Yeah, that's surprising. I thought with the leaders, Rosvi was dead, but they managed to persevere. Okay, here comes the crash. Okay. And now the Asians are doing the same mistakes that the Ottomans did, but actually Ottomans didn't stop doing that mistake. They're both just splitting their armies for the Army Group South and Army Group North. But it looks like the Ottoman deep defense is working better for them. Yeah, the Chinese are being defeated in the north, and they won't be able to push into the mountains in the south. Ottomans are actually going to try and push on their own. I mean, I suppose there's only grasslands, but like, I think they have numbers advantage, but only just. There's still nothing going on in the colonial war. Actually, wait. German Vikings are still controlling all of Malaysia. Yeah, that's Malaysia, right? That's how it's called? Malacca? And they're actually not controlling the Singapore province for some reason. Which I suppose it's not that valuable at this point of the game, but... Oh yeah, Ireland is... Oh my god. The Australians came and they took all the potatoes. Yeah. Potatoes are gone. Lego is gone. Oh my, Australians are actually trying to push. They have a lot of transports. They're landing in Finland. Oh my god, where's one of the battle participants? And the Russians, despite having superior... Wait, it's Styrians. Yeah, Felix should know. How is the Styrian morale? Yeah, apparently not that great. And Australia is just running back on their ships. Okay. That's a strategy. I mean, if they win enough battles like this... What's this province? It's Österbotten. If they win 200 more battles like this, they will be able to force peace. So, the colonials actually have an exit plan after this war. They actually can win. It is possible for them. And they also the Europeans have 30k Westphalians just running around. Completely no problem. Despite being 100% occupied by Ruthenians. Oh my god, that's a huge battle, but well, having twice the numbers helps the Ottomans to win. Yeah, I really don't think there's any need to split into two. At least the Asians are managing to kind of recover their position around the northern coast of the Caspian Sea. And Ottomans actually withdrawing despite having superior numbers, which, I mean, it's not surprising. Ottomans have superior numbers pretty much everywhere. Punjab is keeping a lot of troops in Bengal and also a lot of troops in Iraq. So I mean, I guess they're not doing anything. And Taiping is doing the conquest of Indochina probably with as little micro as possible. And they're still not using those Japanese tags. Having mothballed forts while fighting an AI is very risky, because AI under some circumstances can just walk through provinces that players wouldn't be allowed to, so I actually think as long as Bengal has any transports, they might be able to go and actually take those mothballed forts. Yeah, actually, yeah, they should be building 100%. They should, of course. Prussians are building naval batteries. Of course. Wow, James Viking are even going a bit overboard. They don't really need that many. But I mean, it cannot. Actually, it's good. Yeah, sorry. It's my bad. I mean, of course they have to have 2 naval batteries in those provinces, because if they lose this one, they always have a second one. So they're always protected. Of course. Yeah, sorry, it was dumb of me to even suggest anything else. Let's see how... And yeah, they are eating, I mean, just barely. But that also means that they kind of can sit forever, but not everywhere, I guess. Let's check how much Malaya is eating. Wait, isn't there a... Okay, they're actually not eating any attrition, despite there being a naval battery. Can you explain that, fellas? They don't have an admiral, and it's just galleys. Can repair when in coastal sea zones. But so that still means they're losing sailors, right? So it's still kind of working, I assume. And the Vikings actually took control of Brittany. Typing is actually doing a fairly decent push into Khmer. Than the Vikings. I mean, Malayans have like 60k more, but it might not be enough, especially since they would need to push over the strait, so versus a 6-6 leader. So yeah. Oh, well, this is not working out. They managed to reinforce, but there's only half cannons in the back row and it's all collapsing, kind of. They still so much cavalry and infantry in the back row that's not doing. Oh, all of Typing troops just decided to screw this and go home. At least Gokturks still have positive manpower. Typing is 200k out of manpower. And they actually took just a bit of land from Bengal. Not that much. Oh, of course. Yeah, once I crash, I'm not coming back in. No matter what. Yeah, Typing went for like 50% peace, which I mean is fine, to be honest, because like you get a smaller truce, so it's not that bad. It's not really possible for Deccan to cut off Typing from all of those provinces. Even Punjab probably shouldn't be able to. So Ottomans are, yeah, I mean, keeping a bit of troops in here I think is okay, as long as you send like scouts to make sure they're, but 150k, like either the Asians send an army to beat you up and then you're gonna get wrecked, or they don't, and then you have 150k that's just not doing anything. Australia has they're sending raiding parties through Crimea. So instead of Tatars coming, it's Australians. I'm not sure what's worse. Probably Australians, to be honest. Look at all of those coasts being protected. Yeah, it puts the Eastern Alliance in such a bad position if they were attacked by Ottomans. I mean, even like if Italy and I guess Morocco is allied to the colonials. Yeah, Italy on their own wouldn't be able to do much, but if they got actual help... Wait, that's Russia. France is being attacked by Vikings. And... was that the white piece? Oh, okay, I crashed. Never mind. So looks like it was like 6 years, so pretty much white piece from Ottomans. So that's really great success for Gokturks. Thankfully, Taiping decided to support them this time, and it worked out pretty well. I'm not gonna try and join back because it's just 5 minutes till the end of the session, and the only war that was somewhat dynamic is actually over because the colonial war is, unless they somehow find a deal between each other, it's not gonna end anytime soon. So I think it's absolutely fine if I end a bit short of the actual session. So cutting bit in the beginning, cutting bit at the end. Yeah. Leaving only the juiciest part, which actually is the case. For the first 2 hours, almost nothing happened, so that's fine. And yeah, so thank you for watching. I'm gonna be streaming the Unbanner session on Wednesday, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get back to that weird RTS strategy game that I was streaming a while ago, Czar, because I still haven't finished it, and I really want to, because that's an interesting game to play, especially the pathfinding. Okay, GG guys, see ya.
Guilty.